Hey guys, welcome back to IBIC Outdoors, and today we're going to be tying the pink squirrel. And we're going to be using an egg size 14 offset caddis hook, mashed barb with a 1/8 inch black bead head. And other materials today will be used are some 2010 denier ultra thread pink, some small ultra wire red, premium dubbing wax, hare's ear colored Antron dubbing, and fluorescent pink Antron dubbing. And I forgot to mention the tinsel, which will be shown later in the video after we put our thread base down on the hook. So we'll put our thread base down. And I like to bring my thread all the way down to the bend of the hook, where it's almost at the very outermost point of the bend of the hook, but I don't put it all the way down, so it's a little bit of an angle, not straight, so that the tinsel doesn't go straight down, or so it has a little bit of an angle. And we'll just tie that in there, and then we'll snip off the excess, and then the tinsel will be shown right here. It is clear tinsel with a lot of flash in it, and it helps. It's the tail of the fly, so we'll be using two little pieces of that, and they will be kind of spread out like a forked tail, and they'll be about 1 to a ½ inch long, depending on how long you want the tail to be. So we'll just tie those in there. And I like to put a kind of a good amount of thread on the back like that, so it kind of makes like a tapered body almost. And then next, what we'll be doing is we'll be putting in about a 1 to 2 inch piece of the small red wire, and this will be our ribbing on the 2/3 of our hook length. But we wait for the dubbing to go on first before we wrap it on. Around the shank, we'll just put it in there right now to do the next step. And it's always okay to have extra. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to put about a 2 to 3 inch, we're going to put some dubbing wax on 2 to 3 inches of our pink thread, which will help the Antron dubbing stick on better. And this is going to be the hare's ear Antron dubbing, and we will apply this to 2/3 of the hook length. And this will be the main body portion of this fly. And I like using dubbing noodles better because I'm more accurate with them instead of a dubbing loop, because dubbing loops take a lot longer and they're not as, in my opinion, controlled when you're moving them, because you have to use like your hackle pliers instead of using your bobbin. And I have better luck with the bobbin. And as you see here, I'm gonna add some more hare's ear colored Antron on here. And of course you could put some normal hare's ear on there, but you don't have to. I just prefer the Antron because you can split it up nice and it's not as bristly, if you know what I mean. And so now we'll just wrap that nice and tight in there. And we'll make sure that that dubbing is nice and cinched down. And then we're going to make about 2 to 3 segmented wraps on the hare's ear with that wire that we tied in earlier in the video. And it can be tedious work if it's not with a very hand-eye coordinated person, but I'm sure you guys are very hand-eye coordinated. And we'll just wrap that red wire in there nice and tight because that doesn't stay in very good, so I would recommend doubling it over and then wrapping again, which is what I usually like to do. And then we're almost done with this fly, and pretty much all we have to do is put some more dubbing wax on the thread, same amount, 2 to 3 inches, because we want this part a little bit more fluffier than the gray section that we just tied it on. And we're going to put the fluorescent pink Antron dubbing on now. And we're going to put this on from where the gray starts. We're going to kind of incorporate it with the gray. And then we're going to bring it all the way back to the head of the fly. And of course this fly sinks, so I'd use this for a dropper fly if you're doing a double rig system fly fishing. And we're going to tie those in, that dubbing in there, and we're going to put another section on because I went a little skimpy on the amount of Antron I put in there the first round. And we'll just flip some more on there. And I think I would prefer more of the wax thread, because if I do a lot of dubbing like this, it's a lot easier to not have to hassle around with that glue stick type thing with the wax in there. We're just gonna tie that off pretty quick here, and then we're going to whip finish. And I know that a lot of people are having trouble figuring out how to whip finish, so I will be posting a video on how to whip finish specifically at a later date. But for now, I'll be using the whip finishing tool in all my videos regularly. And we'll just cut off and I only use one set of the whip finishing, and I do that 4 times around like I always do. But I usually do 2 sets of the 4 instead of the 1 set like I did in here. And if you'd like to buy this fly, go to ibicbaits@gmail.com to contact me to get your hands on this great fly that you can purchase right now, along with my other products that I have. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and like.